It feels like just yesterday when my family and I moved to the new condominium. Coming from a reality where I helped my dad, a street vendor in the city, selling electronics and repairing cell phones and tablets, I found a very different social environment. Back then, at 23, I was that skinny, frail guy in the condo, a fish out of water. At the gym I started going to hoping to get in shape. People with my physique were rare there. It was in this context that I met Marta, a neighbor from the same building, always kind and with a smile in the elevator. She was 20, and we quickly became friends. I saw her at the gym, but focused on my workouts. I never bothered her. To me, she was pretty, but nothing exceptional. However, the rejection that would follow would become the starting point for a transformation I never imagined. One day, in the little square near home, I mustered the courage and invited her to go to the movies. The answer was a cold shower. She had recently gotten out of a relationship and wanted to be alone. I respected her decision, and our friendship continued. But, a few days later, I noticed her interest in an older guy at the gym, a man with an athletic physique who stood out. Soon I saw them talking, and on the weekend I found them kissing in the food court of the mall. I confess I was frustrated, because in the same week she had told me she needed time alone. At that moment, I felt that maybe I wasn't good enough for her. But I moved on, focused on my workouts and my goals. This experience, although painful, propelled me to seek a self-approval that didn't depend on external validation. Time flew by, and my life began to change. I finished my economics degree, and our business thrived. We moved from the small kiosk in the street market to a 538 square foot store, becoming a reference in the city for selling and repairing electronics and importing computer parts. In parallel, the dedication to the gym finally brought the results I was looking for. I started to receive glances and flirtatious remarks, something unprecedented for me. My self-esteem was sky high. It was then that I ran into Marta again, after a few months. She was pregnant. I just greeted her, but she herself started talking about the relationship that had led her to that situation, a man who had gone back to his ex-wife. I observed the irony of the situation, but didn't comment. A month later, she gave birth. Living nearby, we were invited to the baby shower. I went and brought a gift. I saw her frequently in the condo's playground, as she no longer went to the gym. One Saturday, she showed up at our store to pick up the cell phone she had left for repair. I didn't even know she was our customer. With the growth of the store, we had hired employees, and my father and I were more involved in administration. Upon seeing me, she asked if I worked there, and one of the guys who was helping her joked, saying I was the owner. She was embarrassed, took her phone, and commented that she always bought accessories from us. I said it was good to have her as a customer. I had an appointment and said goodbye, but I sensed an insinuating tone in her, "See you around." As I imagined, she started to hang around me, seemed to wait for my comings and goings from the gym to strike up a conversation. Until one day she stopped me and complimented my physique, recalling the skinny boy she had met years ago. I commented that I needed to take care of myself. She asked if I was dating, and I said I was seeing someone, but we had broken up because we had different goals. She smiled and mentioned my invitation to the movies. I clearly remembered her answer, about wanting to be alone. It was then that I said that I also remembered that in the same week she said that, she started seeing someone else at the gym. She was embarrassed, called the guy an idiot, and tried to justify herself, saying she was at a different stage in her life and that now we could get to know each other better. With all due respect, I was direct. Her current stage wasn't for me. She was a mother, and a relationship would bring responsibilities that I didn't want to take on. I added that I understood her back then. I wasn't up to her standards, but now the situation was reversed. We were at very different stages of life. She smiled awkwardly, said she needed to see her son, and left. After that, I started greeting her, but without giving her an opening for conversation. However, I noticed her glances when I passed by. This experience made me reflect on a type of person who seems to suffer from Peter Pan syndrome, believing that youth and beauty will last forever and that those who were dismissed in the past will always be available, in case they don't find something better. Therefore, I say to myself and to anyone who can identify, be like a duck. Remain calm on the surface, but paddle like crazy underwater. That way, the results will come. Focus on your goals and success.